Dark love, from night vision to sight. Dark love describes an experience born out of a place of having limited light. It is formed out of the ideas and philosophies we picked up listening to music inspired by pain, our interactions with peers, and while observing our parents, aunts, uncles, and cousins navigate drama and abuse. It flows from the coping mechanisms we have learned and the emotional baggage that we have accumulated from bad experiences with people. Dark love is the result of wandering in darkness trying to figure out how to do love to the best of our ability because we are made to love and be loved. We go through our life experiences unconsciously wondering things like, how can I feel loved when I've endured so much abuse, neglect, and abandonment? How do I love a God that I can't see when I witness spiritual abuse and manipulation from his people in the church who I can see? How do I properly love my children when my own parents treated me poorly or were absent altogether? How can I nurture love in my relationships when my only example is my parents' abusive relationship? How can I love others when even my own blood siblings have betrayed me? Dark love hurts in a destructive way that will cause you to make vows about what you will never do again and to put up walls to keep people far from your heart. Dark love is codependent, jealous, vindictive, possessive, obsessive. It's the stuff that some of the most popular songs are made of. This is the experience of love through the works of the flesh. This is not to suggest that everyone has experienced a loveless upbringing and is bridled in dysfunction. Many of us have experienced loving parents, loving relationships, loving community, etc. Yet regardless of our individual experiences, we live in a world where love and lovelessness, function and dysfunction, good and evil, are mingled together, and we will all encounter the reality of it in some way. Even the nuances of what we may have experienced as love are often laced with dysfunctional dynamics. Have you ever had the lights turned off and at first everything seems pitch black, but after a short time has passed, your eyes begin to adjust and you are able to see a lot better? You are still in the dark. There is still a lack of adequate light, but your eyes adjust to be able to see and maneuver. Then you become so accustomed to that environment that when the light is turned back on, your first reaction is to close your eyes because the light now feels too bright at first. That is the same thing that happens to us spiritually. Being children of light living in a space of darkness, we must be careful that we are not being conformed to thoughts, ideas, characteristics, and behaviors adopted while in dark, unenlightened places. We must seek to align ourselves with Yahweh and his standard when it comes to love and put off the coping mechanisms we have become so familiar with. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. Romans 12:2. In today's culture, some elements of love must be taught and relearned. It's not second nature anymore. Our nature is compromised by countercultural mindsets, ideas, and behaviors that we must shift out of by the word and the spirit of Yah. My purpose with this book is to point us back to the true source of light and restore the vision of Yah's love so that we don't cast off the restraint of living within its boundaries and abundance. Where there is no vision, the people are let loose, but blessed is he who guards the Torah. Proverbs 29:18. Walking in this light becomes difficult when you are constantly a recipient of other people's lovelessness. We must hold on to the vision and not allow our light to become dim and our love to grow cold. We must endure. Questions for reflection. What have you noticed about how the dynamics of love are changing in your circles of life? How has it affected you? Prayer. Abba Yah, help me to not conform to the mindsets and practices of love grown cold, but to continue to pursue your light and your ways to be a fire amid this present darkness. The remnant must endure. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. but he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. And this good news of the reign, kingdom, shall be proclaimed in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end shall come. Matthew 24:12-13. In this section, who are the remnant? What does the remnant have to endure in? How does the remnant keep the love in their hearts from turning cold in a lawless and loveless world? Yahusha revealed that despite the increase in lawlessness and love growing cold, there will be those who will endure through it all and will be delivered out of it. There is always a small group of people within the masses who the Most High is dealing with and who have a heart to follow him. In these end days, there is a remnant of people awakening and responding to Yahweh's voice and walking in his truth. This remnant is rejecting conformity to this modern, broken culture of lies and is being transformed by the renewing of their minds to return to Yahweh's eternal ancient paths. This remnant, from the descendants of the children of Israel and from all the nations of the earth, is embracing the true light and love of the Master Yahusha, Yeshua. In the darkness of the end days, there is the anticipation and excitement that there is light approaching, that the sun will soon be rising. In reality, it is the sun that will soon be rising. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the esteem that is to be revealed in us. For the intense longing of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Elohim. For the creation was subjected to futility, not from choice, but because of him who subjected it, in anticipation that the creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage to corruption into the esteemed freedom of the children of Elohim. For we know that all the creation groans together and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now. And not only so, but even we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we ourselves also groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. For in this expectation we were saved, but expectation that is seen is not expectation. For when anyone sees, does he expect it? And if we expect what we do not see, we eagerly wait for it with endurance. Romans 8:18-25. Even though the end days are a tumultuous time, we who believe know that it is not the end of life for us, but the long-awaited end of everything that has been opposing us in this world system. So, this is actually an exciting time as we anticipate the kingdom of Yah being fully established in the earth, and we play our part. But in the meantime, we must endure the birth pains, the earthquakes, and all the shaking to survive. We have to continue to occupy until he comes. The challenge is for us to maintain what Yah has put in us to overcome that which is going on around us. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed, those guarding the commands of Elohim and possessing the witness of Yahusha, Messiah. Revelation 12:17. The remnant of Yisrael and the remnant of the nations who are grafted into Yisrael through the Messiah Yahusha, Yeshua, are those who seek to worship Yah in spirit and in truth, seek to guard the commandments of Yah, hold the testimony of the Messiah Yahusha, answer the call to walk in faith, truth, and love, will overcome and endure until the end and see the salvation of our Father, Yah. A remnant, which is the word sherith in Hebrew, represents a small remaining quantity of something when all else is gone. The world has gone astray to embrace darkness. Only a remnant from the descendants of the children of Israel and a remnant from all the other nations will endure to be saved. The remnant are those who endure until the end. To endure, Amid in Hebrew, is to take one's stand. It's to remain firm despite hardship and opposition. To remain firm in what? As Yisbaror's remnant, we are dealing with trials and difficulties that are designed to unravel the cord of truth, faith, and love that upholds our life. To overcome, we must strengthen these three areas. We must endure in the truth of the word, despite the dark void of lies and deception. We must endure in the firmness of faith in the face of trials and tribulation. We must endure in the fire of love among cold, stony hearts and wounded souls. We must remain standing firm in truth, faith, and love, despite the resistance we face day to day. If we remain rooted in these three areas, we have a three-cord rope that won't easily be broken. But if any of these cords are weak, it will begin to unravel the others. So as we focus on love throughout this book, I pray that it reinforces your commitment to faith and truth. Remember, remnant love is war. There are surely warm and happy feelings connected with love that we associate with hearts and goosebumps, but those advantages are usually experienced in the calm before the storms and in the victory dance after the battles that love presents. Our love walk is constantly tested as we maneuver through this world of opposition. At times, we even entertain thoughts within our own heart and mind that conflict with love. The purpose of love in the kingdom of heaven is to be a refining fire. Yah loves us with an everlasting love that has an everlasting eternal vision in mind, so his love serves the purpose of conforming us to that vision. The world that we live in hates us because it is opposed to Yah's purpose, so we face opposition and battles to maintain the integrity of walking in our kingdom values and purpose. This walk is not for the passive in spirit. We need to be fully engaged to survive this battle. This love walk is not about hearts and flowers and soft music, unless that soft music is a part of our strategic battle of soaking in his presence to maintain our sanity and faith. Keep the fire burning. When it's cold and dark, we need heat to create warmth and light to give direction. Acts of love can't be produced out of thin air. A heart of love must be cultivated to bring forth its fruit. Yah wants to cultivate a love inside of his remnant that is like a blazing fire in these cold, dark days. This fire will refine us. This fire will provide light for the lamp that lights the way. His word, that is living and active, is the stimulus in both of those processes. His spirit is the oil in our lamp, fueling the fire. It is our purpose and our calling to maintain the light and not be overcome by the darkness. We are called to not let our salt lose its saltines, to not let our cup become lukewarm, but to remain hot despite the coldness we encounter. We need fire. We need the fire of the Spirit of Yah burning in our soul to sustain us in this hour, not just for ourselves, but as his witnesses in the earth. The current state of the world is like a dark sky with stars scattered across. The remnant are those scattered lights in the midst of the darkness. The darkness abounds, but it cannot overcome the light. And those who have insight shall shine like the brightness of the expanse, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Daniel 12:3. 4 flows of love. When the topic of love comes up, our personal relationships are the first thing that comes to mind because they are our most tangible and immediate experience of love. However, I believe that before we put our attention there, we need to be established in the foundations of love that we neglect the most, but are essential for us to endure the difficulties of personal relationships. Let's break this down into 4 areas. Receiving Yah's love, responding to Yah's love, loving Yah, guarding Yah's love within, loving ourselves, extending Yah's love, loving others. The remainder of this book will explore these 4 areas that I call the 4 flows of love, and will share insights to strengthen our roots, cultivate our fire, and identify things threatening to extinguish it. Are you ready to dig deeper? Read through the 4 flows of love on the next page, and then let's dig in.